I was in the shower this morning washing my hair, obviously because it's still wet. And I was in the middle of the lather, rinse, repeat cycle when I remembered that there was another creator on this app who said that she didn't understand why anybody would wash their hair twice. And I remember thinking at the time, well, it's because the soap works better. It's a dilution problem. Anyway, I didn't want to get into it then because that just sounds nerdy. But then I started thinking about all of the ways that soap actually works and how probably most people didn't understand that and how cool it would be to have some sort of visual representation of soap. And then I started going off in my head. And then that's how I spent the rest of my shower. But I thought perhaps maybe somebody on this app would want to know how soap works. So I started talking about it in my head. And now I have to get it out. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in there. It's going to bother me all day. And if I don't put it on this app, it's just going to disrupt me. So here we go. So most molecules like water or don't like water. They are either hydrophilic or hydrophobic. And we can think about this as water and oil, right? Hydrophobic is oil, hydrophilic is water. Anyway, soap is super interesting because it's a molecule that has a little bit of hydrophilic on one side and a little bit of hydrophobic on the other. And what happens when soap is around itself is it basically hides all the hydrophobic stuff away from the water so that it's pretty soluble in water, which is kind of cool, but it's also pretty soluble in grease, which is also cool. And it just means that it flips the molecule around so that the hydrophobic part is touching all the grease and the hydrophilic part is all inside. It's a super interesting space. Anyway, when you are washing your hair for the first time, you have all of this grease and dirt. And what happens is when you add the soap, the hydrophobic part attacks the grease and the dirt and traps it all in the grease. And then the hydrophilic part sort of folds over. This is called a micelle, doesn't matter. But anyway, it folds over on itself. And the hydrophilic part is on the outside so that it touches all the water. And that makes those big pieces of dirt and stuff soluble in water so it can wash away. See, it can wash away. Very cool. And the thing is that when you first wash your hair, there's only so much of the actual molecules to go around. And so not all of the dirt and grease can always get out. And so you wash it once and most of the grease is gone. Most of the dirt is gone. But if you wash it a second time, even with just a little bit of soap, you'll notice that it's much more fluffy and much more bubbly. That's because it doesn't have as much grease to trap, not as much dirt to trap, and it's actually working better. So you should wash your hair twice because the first time gets away most of the dirt and grease, but that second part gets away the rest of it. And then there you go. So that's how soap works. And yep, I'm pretty embarrassed, but now it's out of my head and I can go to work. Thank you.